Hello and welcome to FS Brew's region's first podcast focusing on all things insurance and insurtech here in the UAE and the wider Middle East. I'm Vidya. I'm the founder of Forward, a startup that works with insurance companies to build their go-to-market digital propositions.
Hi, I'm Ranjit Philip. I work with a boutique consulting firm where I work on M&A, funding, and go-to-market support for startups and small businesses. So in today's episode, we are very fortunate to have with us Gabriel Lazaro, who is the EVP for Chubb, and he has a huge geography, APAC, EMEA, LATAM, and I'm told that the APAC region also includes Japan.
Yeah. And it's super exciting. The whole episode was because you get to see how a big insurer like Chubb innovating and innovative in what scale and size. And it's exciting to know that they're open to all sorts of themes and innovation. It's a matter of how you can prove that that sort of innovation can be backed by the TAM and the distribution model, and then they're up for it. So it's a very exciting episode for our listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a couple of things stood out about how it's not just following the flashy technology, it's about following the money. And they're sector agnostic within insurance. They are looking everywhere, anywhere for interesting startups, insurtechs to partner with. And it's not really very focused on any particular line of business or anything like that. So that's a good sign for people wanting to tie up. Also, I think a few interesting learnings on the personal front as well, as he evolved as a leader and how he managed setbacks and stuff like that. So I think this will be a very interesting episode.
Exactly. So I hope our listeners enjoy listening into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hi, Gabriel. Welcome to FS Brew. It is so great to have you with us today.
No, thank you very much, Dija. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Awesome. We asked all our guests this question: why insurance? How did you get into this career? You have a very strong marketing, digital background. Tell us, how did you come about choosing insurance industry?
No, I think everyone has its own history, and no one's wake up from college. Maybe there are some actuaries and some people, but the majority of the people that I met in the insurance is by chance and coincidence. And when the life put you into the insurance, and then when you get into insurance, you never leave it, right?
Yeah.
But so I think that's part. So I was part of the Rocket Internet in Berlin.
Okay.
I lived in Berlin many years ago. And at that time, I have my first son, and my wife is from Spain. Originally from Spain. My wife is from Spain as well, and it's a personal reason. And after almost 5 years in Berlin, believe it or not, we didn't speak German. and having a baby there, not speaking the language, we thought it was not a good fit for us. And at that time, they were setting up an innovation hub in Europe, and they called me and said, okay, why not? Let's try that. And it was already, time flies, that was 15 years ago.
Awesome. So
fantastic.
That's how you got into the insurance sector.
That's right. And then I get hooked into that. And then I was almost 8 years ago, I moved to Chubb and different roles. And now heading the global digital partnerships for Chubb for all the international markets. That means Latin America, Europe, Middle East, Asia Pacific, and Japan, based in Singapore.
All right. Perfect. Obviously, thank you for that intro. And Rocket Internet is a famous kind of incubator for many companies, right? And there's a certain style of innovation that's interesting. But tell us a little bit about Chubb Studio. We saw that on LinkedIn that you're heading that as well. So what is the role of Chubb Studio, and how does this kind of work with the overall group? Many times these innovation hubs are like small speedboats trying to pull that super tanker here and there. Does it work like that, or is it a different analogy?
It's a great question. 2 seconds for the benefit of everyone about Chubb, and I will land into that. So Chubb is the world's largest property and casualty insurance. We're a U.S. company. Headquarters is in New York, but we have presence in 54 markets and territories. So it's around 35,000 employees and around $60 billion in revenue, more than 200 billion in assets. And now that Warren Buffett is part of with the $6 billion, more than $6 billion investment in stocks, I think now is more than $100 billion markup. And we have all different lines of business from insurance. So we support families, individuals, and businesses around the world. That's what Chubb is doing. In that big organization, we started 8 years ago, and I was the first or the second person who started that journey was let's create this digital channel. So at that time, the CEO, Evan Greenberg, thought that it was a good moment to tackle that segment and looking for partners on a B2B and look for enable those innovators, those platforms and ecosystems that at that time they were starting to grow. Think about Amazon, think about Uber, think about Airbnb, you name it, right? And the idea was let's create a unit that helped us to tackle that opportunity. Chubb was really good on other channels, much more traditional with agents, with traditional distribution. And the idea was to really be a front runner at that space. So that's why we started 8 years ago. That means that's the PowerPoint. It was a great challenge. And I have the opportunity to lead the team in Latin America based in Miami. And there was a parallel team in Asia. So that was the two starting units, and we are part of the business. There was that dilemma, or do we create something separate, or let's do it the hard way, inside out, and it was decided inside out, and it worked. Fast forward, now we are producing $1 billion in gross written premium. We have more than 200 partners worldwide, and that's those names that we would like to partner 8 years ago now, our partners in crime. We have front runners on fintech like Nubank in Brazil, like Revolut in Europe and UK, or Grab in Southeast Asia, just to name a few. We have many others. Through those partners, we have 300 million addressable market, and we have learned a lot. And one of the learnings and one of the key things that at that time when we were thinking to work with those innovators and those amazing platforms that they are changing commerce, they are changing mobility, they are changing financial services, we thought that we should have a best-in-class digital platform. So our backbone and we would like to play the Champions League of the NBA of those. With those partners, we should be able to fulfill the promise. And that's why Chubb Studio started. And to make the life of our partners easier, insurance and you are experts, I mean, it's not the first priority for those partners and ecosystem, even it's a very important part of the portfolio. So let's create APIs that are easy to consume by developers. Let's create, now we launch SDKs this year. Let's have one single point of entry for all the products and services across many markets. So make at the end. What we thought is that we would like to be a digital enterprise. And as Evan Greenberg was here saying, we are an underwriting company and an engineering company. And I think that's therefore to an engineer, and we're surrounded by great engineers, and we are very proud of what we have built. But every day is a new day, and always there are challenges and new things to do.
Yeah. Perfect.
Great. And to see the scale of innovation, an incumbent like Chubb, and large companies typically tend to not, they do innovate, but not to the scale and the depth which Chubb has done. You take any innovative, startups, there is a backing of a Chubb there. So it's really amazing to see that. And really going specific to your role itself, right? Managing really 3 diverse regions. Each of them are a unique property by itself, whether it's LATAM, APAC, EMEA. Tell us, what does it entail in your role on a day-to-day basis to manage such diverse regions? What's the business model? Do you go scout for interesting insurtechs to partner with, like you said, or you work with large corporations, or create interesting embedded solution, or what? Or maybe it's all of it. So it'll be great to hear what's the model.
Yes, having such a wide and diverse regions and parts of the world, it keep us busy. and we are a fast-growing unit inside Chubb, and one of the key things that help us is that we have and I thought answering also part of the question that Brigitte has before, right? I think is that this is a business and it's top down. The senior management is from this, and we have all the support from all the mothership to be successful. And if we are successful, it's not just for me and the great team that we have, it's for the great team that is around. So we are really on a mission to be a front runner on digital distribution. And that, Vijay, answering your question, is that 7 years ago, we decided that we are going to be a player on the partnership distribution. We're an underwriting company. So we know the art and the science of underwriting, and having a global scale help us to learn a lot with that. So we are quite agnostic about our distribution. We focus on some verticals like fintech, e-commerce, mobility, mobile network operators, just to name a few. And then we partner directly with those partners and ecosystem. I mean, the partner wants to have an Insurtech or sometimes a broker, a digital broker, that's fine for us. We partner also with Insurtechs in some cases to provide them with the capacity and our expertise. I strongly believe it's not a sum-zero game. I think we are in a fantastic growing trajectory of insurance. I'm bullish about insurance in the present and in the future. So my role is really lead the digital business internationally. That means from making sure that we are talking with the right people, those markets, making sure that we have the best value proposition that really fulfill the partner needs to protection, that listen the end user pain points, and we are able to create those 360 solutions. That is the insurance, maybe the services. Obviously, the claims is a key factor for the value proposition. And after that is that we as a team, together with our great partners, we develop a sustainable business. And that's super important for us to make sure that really creates that high NPS, the end user is protected, and we are there in case something happens with the brand and the reputation that we have at Chubb. And then obviously also is a revenue for our partners, right? And it's another relationship that they have. So and then that means that my role is strategic, to think 2 years from now, 5 years from now, what are the kind of things that we should do. But then it's super tactical. That's part of our DNA, is what happens every day we open the store and every day our challenge. We are a very flat organization, so I also like to be in the trenches. So it's part of, I grew up in, as you say, in this a very particular culture, and I think represents also the culture of Chubb. So always a happy challenge daily.
Perfect. Nice. Very good. Now, if we go a little bit deeper into that whole Insurtech landscape, you are a very reputed insurance company, and now you find number of these Insurtechs approaching you for partnerships, and some of them a couple of years down the line, they might not even exist, right? What is the selection criteria for partnership? We'd love to know, do you pick some themes around the products that 2 years down the line or areas like climate, embedded, which has been a story for the past decade or so. How do you decide, hey, I think I should partner with this Insurtech? What are the parameters which protect you and help them as well?
When you are thinking to scale and you are thinking big as we are thinking, and to really protect millions of customers around the world and be a global front runner on the digital distribution, you need two things. You need to be agnostic in terms of that, and you need to have a platform that helps you to scale. So we are open to partner with companies from any size. So we are partnering with small companies or Insurtechs that maybe they are in the early stages and we have a solution that works. But also we will work with large platforms and ecosystems that requires obviously another kind of investment from our side. But I think what Chubb Studio help us is to have that platform that is self-serve for those early stages companies that want to have a product out of the shelf. Great, you go to Chubb Studio, you get it, you can hit and run. And then when you grow, maybe you like something much more tailor-made. Fantastic. We love that. We love design thinking. We like to co-create. So answering your answer, we are not cherry picking. We have a platform that helps us to scale. And we are happy to partner with Insurtechs, with fintechs, with e-commerce, around all that for us. And I think embedded maybe is not the right term, but 8 years ago, we decided that we would like to work with partners and make it something that is contextual, insurance easy to purchase, that add value to the end user, that has a seamless experience that you can purchase without any complicated things. Now it's called embedded. But yeah, we are one of the front runners for that. And we have proven with our experience that it works in terms of attachment rate, in terms of NPS, and in terms of volume. I'm still bullish about the future on that sense.
Got it.
So on the themes, so essentially what you're saying is Chubb is open to all the themes. It's pretty agnostic. As long as the unit economics stacks up, as long as the distribution stacks up, you're happy to consider. Essentially.
That's right. And that's right.
Great. So we read a very interesting report, and I think you made a reference to it as well by Chubb on the embedded insurance use case on how banks and fintechs are already adopting embedded insurance in different parts of the world, and it's considered as a wonderful add-on or it's part of their core offering. Tell us, for the regions that you are overseeing, how is embedded insurance playing out? Because a lot of them, obviously, the majority of insurance is on a different scales and variations, whether it's in the banks or the fintechs. And why does the report say that there's going to be a huge leapfrog in 3 years' time? What are the factors that are contributing to that?
No, thank you for taking the time and reading the report. Also, it's public. And I was that our idea, okay, let's go down and understand experts from the fintech sector and executives about their perception about insurance, and also end users from fintech about how they see insurance. And it was very interesting outcome. I mean, just to couple of highlights for the benefit of everyone. We asked about embedded insurance, how important it is for those executive insurance. And they say that 80% of them, I think around 80%, I'm talking by memory, maybe I have some points up and down, but around 80% of the people or executives that we interview, they say that insurance should be a must-have of the value proposition. And the reason why is two reasons. First is because it provides trust, right? It really provides trust to the end user. And second, they believe that it's going to contribute at least to 10% to the net profit of the fintech. So I think those are the two main drivers. The second interesting output is about consumers, and they are willing to open to purchase. And I think 54% of the consumers, they are willing to purchase much more insurance if it's easy to purchase, convenient, and provide trust. So if you see that, and also and think about fintech now with the raise of the complications to a much more tougher environment to raise capital. I think everyone is going to the fundamentals of business. So insurance is such a bias, right? But insurance is such a good complement for core tools, especially on the fintech, right? You having a loan. What happens if something something happened to you? You would like to protect your loved ones to carry on with that debt, right? Or you having a mortgage, right? You're purchasing an apartment. Why not that great investment having a homeowner's insurance or whatever, right? Yep. You're paying your bills, and what happened? Something that protects your bill protect, right? And maybe in some markets, in case you have an accident and you cannot keep paying your bills, you can carry on, and insurance can be the safety net. Think about remittance, right? Now you are in Dubai, one of the key markets that remittance around the world. So again, saving those workers that are sending money to the loved one, what happens if they happen to them? And if you create those products that are seamless, pick in the pocket of those end users with a simple, easy to understand, straightforward value proposition with a great claims experience, you make that available in a way that is easy to those platforms and ecosystem that keep the relationship with the partner easy to consume, easy to embed, impact within their mobile apps, websites, and platforms. We are extremely confident about what the market is going to do in the future, about this embedded insurance, impact, partnership, whatever you would like to call it.
Okay, interesting. Any region that sort of stands out for you, or any use case?
So there are. I think it was Chubb forecasted that is $700 billion the market in the next year. So it's going to be big, and I think. I would say that every company is going to become a tech company nowadays. If you are a tech player or digital player, you are running a business for sure. Then being a tech company, becoming a fintech is the next. Think about Apple, for example, right? Now its services represent, I think, 30-40% of the. I think 30% of the total insurance or financial services are key part, and expand that. So everyone is going to do fintech. And when you're a financial services or fintech, then having insurance is a question of time. So that's why we are so optimistic. And it's going to happen across many sectors, not only fintech, e-commerce, mobility, super apps, right? You are surrounded. Imagine the number of transactions that you are doing with your mobile phone, your computer in a day, and then think about this context, tailor-made, the small coverage that help you to protect the experience. And if we are doing that even is parametric, and we have launched that recently in Singapore. Parametric means that you need to file a claim. So I think it's going to be an explosion in terms of adoption of insurance from the end user. In terms of regions, again, I'm responsible from Latin America, Europe, Middle East, and Asia Pacific and Japan. I will say that Southeast Asia and China and that's even India and Latin America are the front runners on this partnership embedded approach. I think that consumers in Latin America and Asia, they leapfrog the computer and they move from almost cash-driven society to highly mobile and really digital transaction, and they include also India and other markets. And then insurance has been part of that portfolio since inception. I think Europe has been, even there is an interesting cases, a little bit behind from that kind of digital embedded impact, except travel and other products like in e-commerce. So not maybe because there is not the platforms and ecosystems that the scale that you can find in Asia and in Latin America. But I think the cases and the pain points are the way of approach is the same approach, the same playbook, but also different segments, different problems, different personas, different needs. So the insurance needs to be different. And that's what we are doing. We sit down with our partners and we co-create. But the underlying hypothesis is the same. Then the underlying way of doing things is the same. But again, to answer your question, I think Latin America and Asia, the front runners from our experience.
Got it. Yeah, for sure. I think Asia seems to be leading the charge in many of these innovations, especially super app. Staying on that report from Chubb, I think the other sector that was interesting other than fintechs was obviously the e-commerce piece, right? The e-commerce, there's the whole matter of engendering trust between the buyer and the seller, and insurance can be a great way to add that element of trust, right? We have seen travel insurers and portals taking that charge. Would love to know from an e-commerce point of view, what are some of the interesting products or even insurtechs that you have seen, and how is that sector stacking up in terms of insurance sales?
No, it's a sector that we are super committed in help them to really build the trust within the end user. It's a sector that is growing, expected on the trillions in the upcoming years worldwide in all the markets. And we partner with great e-commerce players in Asia and Latin America. So and part of the report also was to understand where are the gaps. And we saw that, for example, I think it was 56% of the consumer, they have received an item that it was damaged or it was not the thing that they don't want. And it's not for the efforts of those players to do an exceptional services, because not the end is part of the nature of the business. So everything that is providing much more confidence to the end user. There are very interesting insurance that we are developing, we co-creating with those partners. Also, it's not only the buyer, also around the seller. So how can you, those small businesses, even it could be an individual that is purchasing something and then deliver it worldwide, it could be someone that manufactures, someone that has a store and then they have merchandise to protect. So there are different personas and cases. And again, there is a huge gap, especially in emerging markets, to those sellers. That there is a great opportunity to protect their assets, to protect their business, to protect their within the platform and outside the platform. I think the platform could become that vehicle that helps us to protect. And then if you go one step down, then now there is the social commerce and the roles of the influencers and everything. And again, there is a great opportunity to really create protection there. There's the whole ecosystem, right? And if you think even broader, many of those e-commerce are financial services as well. They are transacting money. They are creating their own wallets, and also part of the research. We saw that there are scams, fraud nowadays. Despite the efforts of everyone, there are still bad actors. And how can we ensure that we as consumers we are protected to that? And that's also there are products that we just launched, and that's so yeah. So as you can see, there is so many cases and so many use cases, personas and journeys that, again, we can add something that is meaningful. And e-commerce is a sector that we are taking a lot of care and trying to help to those e-commerce to fulfill their strategic objectives and what is the most important, to protect and build trust to the million of consumers from the end user perspective and sellers as well.
Yeah. I remember when I was in the US, this was a rampant issue, right? Packages, if they're left on the porch, some of them don't make it to your home, right? Somebody picks them up, and it's so easy to add on a little bit of a theft insurance cover for a few dollars, and you're protected from a simple thing like that. So
yeah,
that's right, and it becomes a differentiation as well, and others, and it creates network effect. There are so many benefits. That's why we are so optimistic in what we are doing. I think we can help.
Yeah. Amazing. And I think the e-commerce is just across every country has an e-commerce proposition going on. So just the headroom is so fascinating. And also just on what Ranjit was saying now, we have the circular economy e-commerce. So there's a lot of insurers are struggling as to how do you give a solution? How do you give a insurance when you have many parties involved in a circular e-commerce? And so it's just a very evolving subject and a very interesting sector to cater to.
It's very interesting. And again, I think our formula, just to share, is about co-creation. Is understand the end user and the platform and our partner pain points. Understand what data do they have that we can leverage to make the experience unique. If you think about those innovators, our partners, and they are, I wouldn't say disruption, but it was creating new categories and changing the way people, this circular economy that you mentioned, they are changing things and making things easier. They don't want the same old product that it was sold from other traditional channels that works great for those products. But if you are transacting something digital, I think, Randy, you mentioned something easy to understand. You have a package or whatever. You would like to add a simple coverage from Sense, right? Or something that is just protect for that risk. And you would like to have it with easy to understand one click, you got it. And then if you would like to have a claim, it should be as easy as purchase. Yeah. Having those co-creation is what we have seen an uptake with our partners, and that's what we are creating, and we are proud of what we have built so far with our partners, and that is part of our success formula. We as an underwriting company that know and understand those risks and create those unique propositions from our partners.
Fabulous. Yeah. Awesome. So we want to switch gears a little bit. We want to know your leadership style a little bit. You obviously had huge regions. How has your leadership style evolved from your time as an early manager at Fox Mobile to now being part of this broader Chubb leadership team? What has been some of the significant challenges maybe that was thrown at you, perhaps at Chubb, and how did you overcome them? Great to know.
Yes. I was lucky with the responsibility to have a lot of responsibility from early ages. When you are part of the tech companies, those companies grow fast, and I was country president. I think was less than 30 years old and within the internet. So I was leading create my own style, and I think it's based in authenticity. Be myself. Also, empathy. Empathy, I think, is very important. Yeah, and also high energy. I think one of the people that said to me that I'm a high energy, passionate what I'm doing. I think with these three, I think has been across all my career moving forward. And then you get older, you get wiser, you make many mistakes. So you learn from that. But those are the three things that I would say are part of my style as a leader.
Perfect. Awesome. And again, staying on that personal front, we like our listeners to know a little bit more about the leaders that we talk to. When we look at your career path or LinkedIn, it looks like everything is going right side and up, but we know that careers have ups and downs. So question is, are you comfortable kind of sharing a situation where things did not go well? How did you overcome it? Probably that could be a learning for our listeners, how to navigate their careers.
I failed miserably in many things. I think it's part of life to learn, expose yourself. I create businesses and I fail, right? I was I was thinking that I was the smartest guy with 20 years and I didn't make the business that I wanted. I think that gives you also the grit and it gives you the endurance and perseverance to the bad moments. So many things, obviously, many examples that things didn't perform as it was. But I like a quote from Rafael Nadal. I'm really from Spain, and this great tennis player. And sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. And always the setbacks for me has been a motivation that drive me even much more forward. I'm a sport athlete, and I was that kind of attitude helped me. So I like challenge, and when the many things in my career, so I can be endless, right? That didn't go the way that I wanted, but I have the confidence that I will get through the other side. Second, you think you need to put the hard work. That's no way you can get through the other side if you don't hard work. And then having this great resiliency and motivation to get to the other side. I think those are the three ingredients that help you to get through the valleys, but there are at least in your career.
Got it. Thank you for that.
Nice. I think having an athlete mindset is so important, especially nowadays as an entrepreneur or even generally as a leader. It just helps you to understand how to bounce back as more than anything else. So yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, it's a marathon, not a sprint, right? Yeah.
I know. And we forget that because when you're young, your body is all energetic and you want to go for it. And after a point, you're like, you know what, just don't bother. And that's when the mindset sort of kicks in.
Yes. And now I'm getting older, right? And now I think also that's my personal theme. Doesn't mean anything, right? But also this athlete mentality also helped me to, I think it needs to be with your habits, especially when you have such a 24 hours around the clock businesses around the world and traveling 200 days per year. Is keeping the discipline, eating healthy, doing exercise every day, trying to sleep, right? No alcohol, no, trying to your body, your brain, trying to meditate. I'm doing that regular basis, and that helped me to, it's like athletes, right? Careers and football players or any other sport, I think that's football to make an analogy, right? I think careers 10, 15 years from now with 30, 28, you almost is done, right? But now you see Cristiano Ronaldo with 39 years old still playing, right? Because he takes care of himself, right? I think we, as you guys, as a professionals, I think is that kind of I think the next is just taking care of ourselves and our body. We have a lot of pressure. It's not physical, but I think you need to stay physically active and take care of yourself to perform to your best and have a longer career. Otherwise, you will burn out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. True. I think we've come to almost the very last question of the first segment of the interview. Tell us finally, what are your plans and vision that you have for Chubb Studio, for the regions you manage specifically?
Yeah, we are super optimistic as a sector. I think there is going to be a great opportunity for this partnership, B2B2C embedded. So our plans is to keep partnering with those e-commerce, fintech, mobilities, right? The existing partners that we have, and to keep providing protection solutions that will delight their customers. And that's an ongoing exercise to really maximize the opportunity with the existing. Also partnering with newcomers. So we are in an evolving scenario, and you are in the Middle East, that I think it's a great opportunity there as well. So I think these opportunities, every time you look at it, we are excited about it. We are super optimistic. And in order to do that, we need to evolve what we are doing. So we are always looking forward. I think the front window is bigger than the row one for a reason. Yeah. And making sure that we have the people, the talent, we have the target operating model, we listen to our partners. So we try to improve every day. How can we do better? How can we be faster, leaner? How can we fulfill the promise and be there, right? Presence when someone is thinking about, why not that will include insurance in my value proposition? We would like to be Chubb, top of mind, worldwide. So great aspiration, great ambition. So far, so good. But again, every day is a game day. We hustle every day, and we are humble. And we are learning every day.
Awesome. Excellent. And I'm sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go on, Vidya.
No, I would say if Insurtechs want to partner with Chubb, how do they reach out to you? And it might be very useful for our listeners.
No, happy to partner with Insurtech, and thank you to you for the platform and having me here. So they can go to chubbstudio.com and they can send something, or means I think, or you can go to LinkedIn, approach me directly, or there are Chubb. We have offices around the world. Maybe they have access to someone locally that is even better. I think with the benefit of Chubb, we are a global company, but we have presence in 54 markets, right? So having someone that speaks your language and know your market well, so it would be the best way to move forward. But again, we are open to any kind of contact. So I try to answer all the needs, and then we will route it, and then we'll find the best way to support that opportunity.
Perfect. I'm sure the Insurtechs in the Middle East will be very happy to hear that. And you can expect a few LinkedIn messages now, Gabriel.
Great. I'm just looking forward.
Perfect. Now, obviously, we come to another exciting section of our. I'm not sure if it's as exciting for the person who is answering these questions because it has to be answered in less than 60 seconds. If you're ready, we will fire a few rapid fire questions your way, Gabriel.
Absolutely. I like that. Go for it.
Perfect. Okay, here goes. What is one big lesson that you've learned in your career?
Follow the money.
Okay.
I think that people get distracted by flashy things. I think you need to have great objectives, the strategy, and then execute, right? And then follow the money.
Got it. Absolutely. No, it's not about the flashy technology. It's about, is it really yielding something?
It's about the fundamentals, right?
Yeah.
That's the key thing.
All right. So one word to describe your leadership style.
Authentic.
Okay. Very good. Favorite city for travel, business, or personal?
Business, I think New York. There is no better city that energy that New York. I lived there for years and I think it's great. Not for living. For holidays, I will pick and choose. I should say Spain, but I will say that. I'm going to say Santa Teresa. That's a small town in Costa Rica.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And then it's you need to go, it's in the jungle, you need to go with, and you can do great surfing. So it's a kind of a paradise. If you like surfing, is great. So Santa Teresa, Costa Rica for holidays. Working, I may say New York.
All right, perfect. And what book, blog, or podcast, YouTube video, documentary do you recommend the most? Do you find that you recommend the most?
Okay, I like to read a lot and I podcast a lot and everything. So it will be more than 60 seconds. But as we talk about grit, it's a tech talk. It's called Grit, I think, Passion of Perseverance, for a lady called, she has a book, really good book. It's called
Angela Duckworth, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh. So I recommend that. Especially if you're a parent, I think it's good. And together with that, I will suggest, I read that recently, and it's not the same, but it was a Hidden Potential from Adam Grant. And it's just the negative. I mean, I'm dyslexic, so I'm always struggled when I was in school, and now when it's about this, what it takes to, doesn't mean it's the IQ or what the standard says, and there are other factors to help you to shine and be successful. So it's your own path and the grit and many other factors. So I recommend these two things: Grit from Angela Lee and Hidden Potential from Adam Grant.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Over to you, Vidya.
Thank you, Ranjit. So what is like the most exciting tech innovation in insurance for you?
I wouldn't say AI because everybody's saying AI. So I think insurance is the perfect sector to really take advantage of everything that is happening around this digital innovation in many fronts, right? Mm-hmm. Think about what we are doing is data. We are transacting data that we have or data that the customers put on us, and we provide a document with the promise that if something goes wrong, we will be there, right? So if you think all the value chains, I'm super excited about all the innovation that we are having. Meaning, can we do better risk? Can we create products with the data that we have for the consumers, allow us to have much more tailor-made products? Super excited about it. So can we even moving from something that happens and compensate to prevent and predict? And can we have much engagement around, and we have cases on the Internet of Things that we are doing on the commercial side that is super interesting to really prevent before the thing happens, because when you have an insurance, what you don't want is that the thing happens, right? So again, there is a great momentum, I think, around that. Then everything that means about being much more, that's boring for the end user, but I think from a career, I think everything that is efficiency is much more automation. At the end, it means that it helps us to do the things better and faster. So I think that's great. And then on the claims and servicing side also, I think I'm very excited about everything around parametrics. Right. And data, and being able to, when something wrong happens, you don't even to file a claim. You get that. We keep you carry on with your theorem. It's obviously there are regulations and details, but as a promise. So I I think we are going to see in the next years, there are billions of dollars deployed on innovation. And I think we as an insurance, we are going to take benefit of all that.
Right.
At the end, the benefit is going to be on the end user with better products, better experience. And that's going to help us to be the flywheel. I think we as a consumer, we have a great experience with an insurance, we think about it. And I think that's what I'm optimistic in this flywheel of what we can create thanks to the innovations that we are going to see in the market during the next years.
Perfect.
So what one entrepreneur or a business leader you're most inspired by?
Alive, I would say two. I think one is Satya Nadella. I think what Satya has done on Microsoft is fantastic. And if you read the book, he refreshed, he's talking about the soul of the company. And look where Microsoft was before he came and where it is right now. So I think it really respect what Satya has done from the outside, right? And the other one I would say, it's my own company, but I think Evan Greenberg, he's really a visionary leader. I would say, is the Miles Davis. It's very hard to play on the Miles Davis band, right? Always. Right. So it's the same kind of genius mentality that I really admire him. His vision, that means how he thinks 20 years. He's projected 20 years from now, and if you see the track record of Chubb, I think many of that is thanks to Evan, right? So I think those two are really two leaders that help me and inspire me to get better every day.
Perfect. Nice, awesome. So are you a work from home person or your work from office person?
I think there's a time for everything. I like to be at the office. I love the energy of staying with people and the culture that it generates. So I think there is nothing better than that. I think I love to be at the office, honestly. I think it's great. We are social animals. We like to gather, and that's unique, right? But there are days that maybe you have a long commute of 2 hours and you need to be your heads down and you need to get the presentation done or whatever. That's fine to be flexible and working from home. So I think there is no one or the other. I think it's also the kind of work that you are doing and your circumstances. If you are 10 minutes from the office, easy. If you are 2 hours commute and school outside, maybe it's tougher, right? And I think it's we as a human beings, we like to be with human beings. And I think offices gathering together is better, let's say. But then I think we should be flexible as well.
True. Absolutely. So what's like this one top priority for you in 2024 for Chubb Studio?
So there are many things going around the world, right? We have great plans. So it's about execution. We are growing 30% year by year on Latin America, Europe, Middle East, China. And now we have more than 80%. So it's a big priority for us. Southeast Asia is growing and Japan, right? So there are so many fronts that is about executing and deliver the promise. We have a great team at Chubb. People is working very hard. So 2024 is about delivering the promise. So far, so good. But it says stay focused, and giving that 200% to fulfill the promise.
Nice. Perfect. And what's the biggest risk you've ever taken?
Taking so many risks.
You've lost account.
That I've done. Honestly, I've been doing risk. I think risk is you both are taking risk, right? I think if you are not taking risk, is that you are not fulfilling your life.
Yeah.
Obviously, it needs to be risk with an objective. I think first you need to have objective, but then after that objective, you need to take it out of your comfort zone. You need to expose yourself. You need to take risks. You need to fail. You need to learn. You need to get up again. That's wonderful. And I took many risks in my life. For me, many. But at every risk that I'm taking is at the end it gets me better. It gets me. I learn a lot. Honestly, I think my life is full of taking bold moves. And even I started at Chubb. An example, I start Chubb with a PowerPoint that is nothing, and I decided to move from New York to Miami. Step back from my current role that it was bigger, but I was believing on Chubb. I was believing on the executive that I was talking. I believe in the promise, and I took my family, moved to Miami. and starting something with a PowerPoint. That was some perspective. Sometimes you are blessed, right? Other perspective could be it was a risk. But that's an example, that one, but it's full of that. Yeah.
Perfect.
Great.
Very good.
Awesome.
So that kind of brings us to the end of the rapid fire section. And it's been awesome to have you with us, Gabriel. We had a lot of fun and hope you enjoyed this session as well.
No, I'd like to thank you, both of you, for what you are doing. I think what you are trying to do, your careers also are super impressive, what you said, and moving from a big corporation to now being innovators and entrepreneurs in a fantastic and vibrant part of the world like the Middle East and Dubai that I was recently. I think it's great for you. Thank you for the opportunity and the platform, and let's stay in touch.
Right.